Sarvam Brahmamayam Sarvam Brahmamayam Re 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 Sarvam Brahmamayam. Sarvam Brahmamayam Sarvam Brahmamayam Re 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 Sarvam.
Good morning and namaskaram to all. Namaste. Yeah. The audio clear? Audio is Namaste. Namaste. Yeah. Namaste. Yeah. Okay. We'll start. Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Bhagavantau Punah Punah Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnur Gurur Devo Maheshwarah Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayiniim Ambattvamanusandathami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshiniim Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Yada Patranetra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraika Panaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gita Mrtaduhe Namaha Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopalanandanaham Partho Vatsasudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gita Mrtam Mahat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Bhishmadronatata Jayadratha Jala Gandhara Nilopala Shalyagrahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashwathama Vikarna Ghora Makara Duryodhana Vartini Ashwathama Vikarna Ghora Makara Duryodhana Vartini Sottirna Khalu Pandavai Hrananadi Kaivartaka Keshavaha Parasharya Vachas Saroja Mamalam Gidartha Ghandotkatam Nana Akyanaka Kesaram Harikadha Sambhodhana Bodhitam लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद् भारतपङ्कजं कलिमलप्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतस्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगाः नावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः Namaskaram and good morning to all. We have been discussing Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We are in the 6th chapter, Dhyana Yogam. We have covered up to verse number 17. Verse number 17 we covered. So we'll continue from verse 18. And after doing verse 18, we will come back to 17 a little more. And then we'll proceed. Okay. Verse number 18. Yeah. Yada viniyatam chittam atmanyevavatisthate nisprihas sarvakamebhyah yukta ityuchyate tada. Yada viniyatam chittam atmanyevavatisthate nisprihas sarvakamebhyah yukta ityuchyate tada. Bhagavan gives a very clear definition of yukta. Who is yukta? See, yada viniyatam chittam. Yada means when the dhyanam, we have been discussing about meditation, right? So when the dhyanam has reached the samadhi, right? Reached the samadhi. When the dhyanam has reached the samadhi, then viniyatam chittam, the mind, right? The mind, chittam, the mind is in atmanandam. Viniyatam means, here in this context, Vinayadam means the mind is in Atmanandam, and then Atmani eva avatishtade, always stays, or more than stays, you can say roosted. Okay, Atmani eva avatishtade, the mind is roosted in Atma, that is in Atmanubhavam, stay strongly. Okay, that is in Atma only. There is no deviation or there is no slipping. Atmani eva avatisthate tada, then sarva kamebhyaha nisprihaha, who has freed from all the desires of laukika sukham, all the desires of laukika sukham, all the pleasures of the world. Okay, all the pleasures of the world is, there is no desire for it, there is no absolute desire in it. Nisprihaha is completely gone, it's not there. No desires for any of the objects of the world for pleasure. Atma Sukham itself is there. Atma only Sukham. Right? Na alpe Sukham asti. On the small things, there is no Sukham. One who has understood, realized it completely, and has got absolutely no desire for this worldly pleasures. Sarva kamebhyaha nisprihaha. That's Satyanishtaha, that person or that who is in this knowledge, yuktaha ityate. Yuktaha ityuchyate. He is Yuktaha. So this is the clear definition for Yuktaha. See these words Yogarudhaha, Yuktaha, Sthita Prajnaha, Jivan Mukta, all are absolutely same. Okay, all are same only. There is no difference between them. Whether you call it Jivan Mukta or Jnani, etc., all they are all same only. So when this dhyana abhyasam means when the practice of this meditation, okay, when the practice of meditation is continuous. We already discussed last time, dhyanam means like when uh, the oil, when you pour the oil, there is no breaks, so continuous it is. So when this dhyana abhyasam is continuous, okay, that is samadhi. One who is in samadhi, when one who is in samadhi for long time, right, there is no disturbance, like a taila dhara, when it is continuous, that will give atma ananda anubhavam. Atma ananda anubhavam, that is atma anandam, where there is no disturbance of the mind. The mind is roosted in atma only. There is no thought of any vishaya vastu. There is no thought of any external objects where it will disturb. There is no thought of any object. Only the mind is dwelling only on atma, bhagavan, brahman. Okay, so when there is, why the mind is not dwelling on the vishayas? The only reason is these objects of the world are no more important to the mind. So the mind is fixed on Atma. Because Atma alone is the truth, Bhagavan is only the truth, there is only the Satyam. So this Satyanishtaha, one who is established in such dhyanam, which has led to samadhi, he enjoys this Atma Anubhavam, Atma Ananda Anubhavam. And who has got such a person only will have, see, one who does not have any interest in the external objects only will be able to dwell on Bhagavan. So one who is constantly dwelling on this, he is called Yuktaha. Okay, this is Yuktaha. So he is always in Atma Ananda Anubhavam. That is, mind is in equipoised, or what do you call it? Equanimity of the mind. Mind is always in Shanti. It is not getting disturbed by any of the external objects. Why? Because there is absolutely no desire for the external objects. Such a person is Yuktaha. Yukta ityuchyate tada. Then only. So the conditions are very clear. There should be no desire for any of the external objects, because through tattva vicharam this person has understood, this jiva has clearly understood that these objects of this world are not going to give me any happiness. By own experience and also by seeing other jivas around us, this is very clear. And then the mind is not dwelling. This has to be practiced. This has to be practiced through atma vicharam only, through self knowledge. So in each one of us, we should understand what are the things that is disturbing us. Unless and until we sit and do dhyanam or do meditation, we will never know what are the things that are disturbing us. Right? How will we know what thoughts are coming? Unless and until you sit and watch for the thoughts, we will not know. And in those thoughts, we will know what are the things we have vested interest. Yada viniyatam chittam atmanyevavatisthate nisprihas sarva kamebhyaha yukta ityuchyate tada. Okay. So now, if you go back to the previous verse, one more time. Yuktahara viharasya. We explained this last class, but it is worth going back again. Yuktahara viharasya, yuktacheshtasya karmasu, yuktaswapnavabodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. One, the one who remains in self at all times, that is yuktaharasya. While eating, he remains in self, right? His thoughts are self only. Why? We have learned one beautiful sloka before. Brahmarpanam brahmavir brahmagnau brahmanahutam brahmaiva tena gandavyam brahma karma samadhina. Again, please refresh this verse, meaning, etc. All that, the whole life is yajnam, right? So the food, while eating also, the food also is Bhagavan only, Brahman only, Brahmarpanam. The one who is eating also is food. Sorry, Brahman, right? The one who eats is Brahman. The thing that gets eaten is also Brahman. Sarvam Brahmamayam. Everything is Bhagavan only. The one who remains in self while eating or during recreation, right? Yukta ahara viharasya. See, vihara means in vyavaharam. Okay? Yukta ahara viharasya. Without forgetting the goal. The fourth, without forgetting that our goal is moksham, atma shanti. Without forgetting the goal, who eats for the body as per the requirement. That is yukta aharasya. He is yuktaha. Yukta definition we already saw. One who is established in self. So here yukta aharasya means one when having food also is established in Atma only. One who sees only Bhagavan in food also, in this body also. Everything is Bhagavan only. Everything is God. So how somebody can abuse this body? Yuktahara viharasya, while in recreation. Recreation means when in transaction, when you are dealing with people, when you are handling the office work, or when you are doing whatever you are doing as a doctor or a tailor, whatever job you are doing as a housewife, when you are preparing food, the water is God only, right? The water is God. The fire that you are lighting is Bhagavan. Everything is Bhagavan. The rice that you are putting inside chawal, that is also Bhagavan only. Whatever you are cooking is Bhagavan only. Thinking of Bhagavan only. All the time, keep the mind dwelling on only Bhagavan, because that is the truth. It is the Chaitanyam in everything. Everything around you is nothing other than Bhagavan. It is the Chaitanyam because of which everything is shining as it is. Keep this thought in whatever job you are doing. Yuktahara viharasya. Then, while employed in your daily activities also, while asleep, when you are going to sleep also, when you are dreaming or when awake, never identifying with the body. Never identifying with the body, because you are not the body. You are not the body, you are the Chaitanyam, Tattvamasi. So, dwelling only in Atma, dwelling the mind, keep the mind only in Bhagavan, thinking, seeing, tasting, smelling, everything is God. Everything is Bhagavan. In Malayalam, I always quote this. Yadunnu kanmadadu narayana pratima. Whatever you are seeing with your eyes is Bhagavan's Rupam. Yadunnu kelpadadu narayana shrudigal. Anything that you hear, let it be a praise or let it be an insult, it is a Bhagavan. It's a God's praise. It's a Bhagavan's Srotram it is. Stotram it is. യാതൊന്നു കേൾപ്പതതു നാരായണ ശ്രുതികൾ, യാതൊന്നു ചെയ്വതതു നാരായണാർച്ചനകൾ. All that chore that you do, all the work that you do, everything is Bhagavan's archana, puja. It is an offering to Bhagavan. It's an offering to God. It is an offering to God. Actually, it is an offering to God. Anything that you do, anything, whether you are handling your family, right? Whether you are outside in a transaction or you are doing business, everything is an offering to Bhagavan. All that work that you do is a service to God in various forms around you. The Bhagavan in various forms. Everything that you see is Narayana Pratima. So in that way, when we transact yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu, in all your activities, yukta swapna vabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha, that yoga, that meditation, or that continuous dwelling on Bhagavan leads to yogam, and that completely removes the suffering. Dukkhaha. Dukkhaha bhavati. Culmination of all sorrows and ends in samadhi. That is why I said the definition of yukta is 18, and then when we go back to 17, this the meaning is this. This is the meaning. युक्ताहार विहारस्य युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः यदा विनियतं चित्तम् आत्मन्येवावतिष्ठते निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा. Right? He is called yuktah. Nisprihah sarvakamebhyah. All the desires are no more there, and one who is roosted in Atma is called Yuktaha. Okay, now we'll move. See, from 19th verse till 28, 19 to 28 verse, Bhagavan gives a method or how to reach that state, explains the in detail explanation of Savikalpa Samadhi and Nirvikalpaka Samadhi. Nirvikalpa Samadhi or Nirvikalpaka Samadhi, both are same. So Savikalpa Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So the first 19 to 23 is about Savikalpa Samadhi, and 24 to 28 is about Nirvikalpa Samadhi. See, in Bhagavad Gita, these words like Savikalpa Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, these words are missing. These words are not, Bhagavan has taken special care not to put these words. So, because these are terms, these are not important. The words are not important here, but the attaining that state is more important. Okay, we'll move to the 19th verse, beautiful verse. यथा दीपो निवातस्थः नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता योगिनो यतचित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः. यथा दीपो निवातस्थः नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता योगिनो यतचित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः. Nivatastaha Deepa. Here Bhagavan gives a simile, upama, of how the mind of a yogi, okay, how the mind will stay. It gives a simile, how it will be. Beautiful upama here. Nivatastaha Deepaha. In a place where there is absolutely no wind, there is no breeze, there is no wind, there is no movement of air. In a place, you keep a lamp and you see the flame, how the flame will be. Now, the flame without even a slightest flicker. The flame will be like this, like that, ekdam steady. There is no flickering. There is absolutely no movement of this flame. Nivatastaha deepaha yatha na ingate. The way it stays without any movement. Atmanaha yogam yunchataha. After arriving at Atma, or after arriving Atma Sukham, or after realizing Atma Sukham, or of enjoying Atma Sukham, Yoginaha, all the yogis, Yata Chittasya, the mind will be an undisturbed mind. The mind will be undisturbed, steady. The mind will be in equanimity. There will be no disturbance of the mind at all. How a flame of a lamp which is kept in a place where there is no wind at all, there is no movement of air, how the flame will be the same way yoginaha yata chittasya sa upama smrta. This is an example of the mind of a yogi. The mind is compared to the flame, and the wind or the movement of air is compared to the thoughts of disturbance, or the disturbance from the thoughts. So the disturbing thoughts are like the wind or the movement of air, and the mind is like the flame. So how a flame will remain without flickering, ekdam steady, the same way the mind of a yogi will be not moving without any disturbance. It will be staying in equanimity, shanti, total peace, ultimate peace. The mind will be at peace, neither jumping with joy nor under sorrow. Quiet. This is the upama. Sa upama smrta. As a lamp in a windless place does not flicker, this is the upama that is used to describe the disciplined mind of a yogi practicing meditation on the self. So, see here, initially, when somebody is sitting for meditation or dhyanam, atma dhyanam, what is my true nature, etc., when somebody is sitting, there will be a lot of names and forms will come in the mind. Names and forms are what it is. Names and forms means anything from outside. Let it be a few people from the family or outside the family, or some friends, or it could be an incident, or it could be a situation in the office or home or outside or in the society, or something which has happened in some other country also can disturb us. Everything is names and forms. So initially when someone sits for meditation, these names and forms, all these are the vishayas. These are all objects of this world, right? Which had gone inside through the sense organs, and has, with some data, it is compared with some data which was there inside, and came to a conclusion, a judgment has come, and that such things will, when it pops up again in the mind, it causes disturbance. All vasana only, all previous our, because based on our culture or based on our previous impressions, right? So these things will start disturbing, and all the disturbances are caused by these names and forms. But when we do Atma Vicharam, through Tattva Vicharam. So, or after studying Vedanta, Upanishads, or Bhagavad Gita, etc., through this Vedanta Vicharam or through Tattva Vicharam, we slowly understand that these objects of this world which is causing disturbance are absolutely useless. They are not. In my ignorance, I have thought in my ignorance that these objects of this world will give me happiness. But now I realize these objects of this world are not going to give me happiness because I have never found permanent happiness in it. As somebody said, initially it will be all sugam, 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 dukkam, sugam, 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 sugam. And after some time, sugam, 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 dukkam, dukkam, sugam, 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 sugam. Then after some time, sugam, sugam, dukkam, dukkam, sugam, sugam, dukkam, dukkam. Then sugam, dukkam, 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 sugam, dukkam, 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 sugam, dukkam, 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 dukkam. And after some time, the sugam that we think is maybe we will just touch sugam and then again back to dukkam only. This is the state of all jivas. Through own experience, we have found that the objects of this world are bringing such things only. Right? The way explained, sugam and dukkam, and then ultimately at some little bit of sugam will come, and then later, when we become old, there will be only dukkam, there will be no trace of sugam at all. Because we have been depending on the objects of this world. Knowing this through Tattva Vicharam, then what is Sukham? Atma alone is Sukham, Anandam. Our true nature is Anandam, Satchidanandam. Peace of mind is our true nature. Knowing this through Tattva Vicharam, is this my body? Am I this body? Am I this mind? Panchakosha Vivekam, Avasthatraya Vivekam, etc. Through that, through the process of Vedanta Vicharam, we get a dispassion towards the objects of this world. Then, slowly, then we sit for meditation. The disturbances will start reducing. Constant practice of this Tattva Vicharam, slowly the names and forms will be flushed out. Flushed out of the system. It will no more cause any disturbances. It might come, it might not cause any disturbance, just a flow of thoughts. It will not cause any disturbance at all. And then slowly the mind will be dwelling only on Bhagavan, God. Let it be Ishtadevata, let it be a deity or personal deity, or let it be a symbol, or let it be a Bhagavan or Nirguna Brahman, which the Vedanta says that, or a Shiva or Krishna or Kali or Durga or some other deity, anything is fine. The mind will be dwelling on that Bhagavan knowingly. Knowingly, this is very important. Knowingly means we need the buddhi, we need the intellect to bring the mind to stay in God, to stay in Bhagavan. So, the buddhi, that which knows, right? And the thing that is known is Atma. So, two are there. The buddhi, which brings the mind to the Atma, that you are not this body, etc. And keeping the mind in Atma. This will bring a Shanti in the mind. This is called Savikalpa Samadhi. Because we need the buddhi to bring the mind back, and then it stays throughout, right? It stays throughout. So this is Savikalpa Samadhi. Then the buddhi also is not necessary. When the buddhi also is not necessary, right? Then buddhi is not available. Even when the intellect is not available or is not necessary, that is Atmanubhavam, that is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That is, naturally, there are no disturbances. When you are sitting for meditation, naturally, nothing disturbs at all. Absolute no disturbance. Even the brain is not necessary. The buddhi is not necessary to bring the mind to an equanimity, and then naturally, it takes long time of practice. It will take long time of practice to get to the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And it is not a mandatory requirement also, but this is the process. This is the process. Okay. So Bhagavan here says, Yatha Deepo Nivatastaha Nengate Sopamasmrta Yogino Yata Chittasya Yuncheto Yogam Atmanaha. So this is the simile that a mind which is initially disturbed by many names and forms, various objects of this world, and through Vedantic knowledge, through Tattva Vicharam, bringing the mind slowly into. So initially it will be very difficult. See, a person who is sitting for meditation, thinking about Atma or doing Atma Vicharam, who am I? Or Vedantic knowledge itself is the greatest blessing from Bhagavan. Because those who are sitting for this meditation through Vedantic knowledge is not easy. It is not easy. Because we all have, look at ourselves. When did we start this? So before that, what we were, if we are here sitting and then discussing Bhagavad Gita, it is not an easy thing. Before we started this, how was our condition? Was it possible at that time to do Atma Vicharam? No. So it is God's blessing that we are here, and through Tattva Vicharam, somehow we have understood that the objects of this world, they are not giving us any happiness, they are trouble only. Knowing this, we still sit for meditation. So through the meditation, through Tattva Vicharam, slowly the objects of this world which is causing disturbances are flushed out of the system, and the mind is more and more dwelling on Atma, Bhagavan, the Chaitanyam. And there will be a time when with knowingly we can keep our mind in Atma. That is Savikalpa Samadhi. And then constant practice of the Savikalpa Samadhi will lead to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. We'll move to the 20th verse. Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. Before we proceed, there are a few more points which we can discuss. This keeping the mind fixed on Bhagavan, this practice, the For this, the mind will be in ekagrata. Chitta ekagrata. Mind will be in ekagrata. Concentration of the mind. This Savikalpa Samadhi, see, there are two more samadhis there. One is called Moodha Samadhi. Another is Jnana Samadhi. Several technical terms, don't worry. We are all gone through such thing in our lives. Moodha Samadhi is without our knowledge, we are in Samadhi. Say like a deep sleep. Deep sleep is a state, we are in Samadhi only. But we just fall into sleep. And when we are listening to a song, a beautiful song. So when we listen to the song, we will be immersed in the song. The mind is totally immersed in that song. That is also a sort of samadhi only. Or a dance, we are totally immersed in that. Or during a performance, let it be a musical performance or dance performance or a percussion instrument performance, we get into some sort of a trance, right? Say like bhajans, etc. When we enter into some bhajans, we get into some trance. In Kerala, you must have seen the percussion instrument. We all jump along with the rhythm. We jump. We get into some sort of a trance. It is totally uncontrollable. For that, hands cannot move. We'll be jumping with the rhythm of that music. We are not at all aware of the surroundings. We are not at all worried about our position or anything, but we will be in a trance. That is also a samadhi, right? That is also a samadhi. So all these are not what we are looking forward to. All these trance and during meditation you get into some, all that, everything is not what we are looking. Why? Because they come and go. These sort of states, they come and then go. They go. And then when they go, again the fluctuation of the mind starts. Whereas in those, when the mind is totally immersed in that activity, let it be husband and wife at night, that also. So all that during the peak of that enjoyment, the mind goes into that samadhi. But once the music is over, we come back to this world. Again, the fluctuation of the mind starts. Raga, dvesham will start, and the mind will undergo the fluctuations. Whereas a yogi's mind, that is through tattva vicharam, Vedantic knowledge, once this is touched, then once the knowledge has assimilated, then there is no going back. So each step we take towards the goal of that Sahaja Samadhi, towards the goal of Sahaja Samadhi, there is no going back. That will not go back. Day by day, the Atmanandam, once touched, it will increase only. It will increase. So, that is possible only through Vedantic knowledge. All other external factors like music or dance or all things, whatever I explained earlier, all that needs an external factor where we get into that, right? That is called, they are all called Moodha Samadhi. Whereas Jnana Samadhi is with the knowledge, with the Tattva Vicharam. Through Atma Vicharam, one gets into the Samadhi, a state of mind where it is undisturbed by the thoughts. There, It will not go back. So when after this samadhi, sitting in a secluded place, it will help in transaction and keeping the mind in Bhagavan during the type of Vyavaharam, Yuktahara Viharasya. Remember that. During that time also, keep the mind on Atma, Sarvam Brahmamayam. Keep it, keep this thought during the transaction will help in meditation also for flushing out or removing the names and forms during our meditation. So, mutually helping the meditation and during transaction, helping each other, this will lead to a Sahaja Samadhi. Okay, these points I wanted to mention before we move to the 20th verse. Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyannatmani tushyati. Yatra, one second. Yatra, in this samadhi anubhavam, in the state of samadhi, yoga sevaya. Yoga sevaya means because of this practice of this meditation, yoga sevaya, because of this practice of meditation, niruddham chittam. The disturbances are completely stopped. In Patanjali Yoga, yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Niruddham chittam. This mind where the disturbances are completely removed. Niruddham chittam uparamate. Uparamate means enjoying by knowing that Atma is Sukham. Okay? Enjoying by knowing that Atma, Bhagavan alone is Sukham. And sticks with Atma only. The mind is always stuck with Bhagavan, dwells only in Bhagavan, not on the Vishayas. Uparamate. So a mind in this Samadhi Anubhavam, because of the constant practice of this meditation, Yoga Sevaya, the names and forms or the disturbances are completely flushed out of the system and enjoying that Atma is Sukham. Bhuma vai Sukham, Nalpe Sukhamasti. Yatra cha eva, in which deep meditation, Atmana. Atmana means using this mind. Atmanam Pashyan. Atmanam Pashyan means seeing Satchidananda Rupam, Satchidananda Swarupam. Atmanam Pashyan, Satchidananda Bodham, Atmani Tushyati. He stays in Atma and Tushyati. Tushyati, he is in bliss. He is in supreme bliss. When the mind, the meaning is when the mind which is disciplined or conditioned by the practice of yoga, by the practice of meditation, it becomes tranquil. It becomes shanti, peace. And when the yogi is, when the yogi beholding the self by his own self, he is contented in self, or he is Atma Sukham only at all times. See, the mind is Trigunatmikam. The mind is, it has got all three gunas. We know all the three gunas, right? What are the gunas? Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas. The mind is always Trigunatmikam. And such a mind, it has got 5 stages. It has got 5 stages. Kshiptam. I will explain this. Kshiptam, Moodam, Vikshiptam, Ekagram, Niruddham. So these are the 5 stages of a mind. Kshiptam, Moodham, Vikshiptam, Ekagram, Niruddham. Kshiptam means, as we explained earlier, the condition before we started this Vedantic journey. There is no time for Vedanta, there is no time for Bhagavad Gita, always busy with work or making money or family, etc., running around. That is Kshiptam. When the mind is after the objects of the world to acquire things or to hold on to things without losing it, that is Rajoguna Pradhana. That is Rajoguna Pradhana. That is Kshiptam. That is, there will be no time for any of this. No time for God, no time for Bhagavan. Only doing rituals and things for getting something or other for ourselves. No Nishkama Karma at all. Everything is Kamya Karmas. That is Rajoguna Pradhanam. It's not bad, okay? Don't think that it is bad, but I'm just telling you, this is what it is. Rajoguna, that is Shiptam. The mind is Shiptam. Then Moodam. Moodam is second one. Moodam means Tamogunam. Moodam means not when the mind is under Vishadam, depression, right? No mood for doing any activity leads to laziness, and that is moodham. Tamogunam, it is totally lazy, couch potatoes, don't want to do anything in life, don't want to get anything, don't want to acquire anything, right? But moham is always there, desires are there always, but don't want to do anything to fulfill those desires. Such a mind, because it could be because of depression, it could be because of laziness, such a mind is moodham, dull mind. So tamoguna pradhana, the tamogunam. Then both these states, both the above two states, the kshiptam or moodham, it can never get atmanubhavam. There will be no atmanubhavam in those above two states. And then when the rajogunam and tamogunam reduces and sattvagunam increases, once in a while it starts getting into, because of the beatings from the world or because of the suffering that one undergoes while passing, or somehow we happen to listen to some Bhagavad Gita or Vedanta, or which we had heard earlier, starts sprouting. Oh, something I heard. I heard some talk. Somebody was saying, who was that? Oh, what was that? Oh, it is in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, what is it? So, like that, when we start listening or when we start uh, more and more interest in scriptures, then slowly that is the rising of sattva gunam. and through constant listening to Vedantic talks or reading scriptures and understanding it, we start getting time, and sattvagunam increases, slowly rajogunam and tamogunam it reduces, and then that slowly brings us to some shanti in our lives, some peace of mind in our lives. This is vikshiptam. This is vikshiptam, the third state. Vikshiptam, coming and going. And once we start dwelling on Atma more and more, we get to the Ekagra Buddhi. Mind becomes a little more concentration, we get more time for Vedantic studies, right? So the mind becomes more concentrated in the studies or in meditation, etc. That is the fourth one, Ekagram. And the fifth one, when all the waves of disturbances are died down, when the disturbances are completely died down, such a mind gets immersed in Atma Swarupam, immersed in that peace of mind, immersed in Anandam, and without any problem. That Chittam, such a Chittam is called Niruddha Chittam. That is Niruddham. Okay? When the mind is naturally in Niruddham, without buddhi, without the buddhi helping to bring the mind to samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi. It is called nirvikalpa samadhi. But this verse we will explain little more. Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. Yeah. So here what is necessary is yoga seva. Yoga seva means dhyana abhyasam. Dhyana abhyasam is constant practice of meditation is necessary. Okay. Yeah. Atmani tushyati. Yes. Okay. This is how we have to get to the nirvikalpa samadhi or sahaja samadhi. When we are in vyavaharam also, when we are able to keep the mind in equanimity at all times, whether we are sitting alone or whether we are in vyavaharam, one who is dwelling only in atma naturally, with not disturbed by the external names and forms, external objects of this world, he only will have Atmanandam. He is called Yuktaha. He is Yogarudha. He is Jivan Muktaha. So we'll continue from 21st next class. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Hari Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu.